Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video I am going to be working on my 14th story inside of my December Daily 2020 album. So this story is all about making gingerbread houses with our family. Prior to getting to today's spread, I did set up this foundation page, minus all these little insert pieces, this foundation page in one of my live videos, and I will link that in the description or up at the eye for you. Basically, I got this gingerbread house cut file from Paige Evans. I created my own background using some texture paste and some acrylic paint through a stencil to make a star, very textured background. And I made this pocket, or this gingerbread house, into a pocket that will hold my journaling, some additional photos, and all those goodies. So my plan for today is to stamp out a title on one of my journaling pages. So it's just going to be front to back, and I'm going to put a title here. I also have one of these little chipboard pieces that came in the gingerbread house kit. So we used 4 of them, and I had a couple of extras left over. So I thought this would be a really cute pull to have at the top of the tag here, which we will see about that. And I'm just going to be using the Allie Edwards December Daily alphabet stamp to create my title, along with some bits and pieces from some other things I've made throughout the month already. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward here while I get this page put together. And then once everything is done, we will slow down and read the journaling and then be done for the day. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so I'm going to start by getting the left side of the spread completed first. The first thing I needed to do was punch my holes in the photo so I know exactly where everything's going to go, and then I can add my number and everything onto the photo. I always like to punch my holes first just so I make sure that nothing is going to cover the holes or interfere with them. If for any reason I was going to put an embellishment on that side of the page. But I do end up putting this in the wall space there. We have blue colored walls in our kitchen. We haven't had a chance to redo our kitchen and dining room in our home, so those are the colors that we moved in with. But you know what? It's okay. It's not the worst color in the world, and I don't totally mind it. So anyway, this little embellishment here, this was one of those leftover circle vellum embossed elements that I had made from the previous page, which I have gotten a lot of questions about. So just because I haven't had a chance yet to get to my comments yet, if you are watching this and you had a question about the vellum from yesterday, that was from a pack of colored vellum. And all I did to make those is I punched them out of a 2-inch, or I used a 2-inch circle punch to punch those out. And then I used some ink, some embossing ink, to add some pattern stamping onto the vellum, then put on some holographic powder and embossed it with my heat gun. And so because it has that textured element, when you add adhesive to the back of it, you can't really see it very well. So with yesterday's pocket, I did just go ahead and use roller adhesive to adhere the circles together. You just can't see the adhesive because the top of that vellum is stamped and embossed on. So anyway, that was yesterday. This is today. So I used one of those circles that I had left over. I layered it underneath the gold 14. That was from the chipboard set from the 2019 December Daily collection. And then I just used a piece of my red and white twine, tied it into a bow, and glued it at the top of the circle. I thought that added a little bit of like red and a little bit of whimsy to that section of the page. So then I added that back into my album there, and now we're working on some photos and the right side of the spread. So the first thing I did there was I took those 3x4 photos. 2 of them I just taped together back to back. And then the other one, I needed some kind of pattern paper to back it with. I found the one that was a black and white stripe. I thought that looked really cute, so I just went with it, added that to the back, and trimmed off around the outside. Now, when I did my journaling here, my journaling is 3 inches wide by 6 inches tall. And on the one side, I took my, like the place where the journaling started to the 3-inch mark. So I have a 3-inch by 3-inch square at the top of my journaling to add some stamping to. I did this because I knew I wanted to stamp the word gingerbread, and I knew that those stamps were roughly an inch high. So if I knew, or if I guessed that I was probably going to need 3 rows of letters, then that would give me the 3 inches. So that's kind of how I figured that out. Then I went and grabbed out my Ali Edwards alpha stamp, and we are going to start from the end of the word and work to the beginning. So the first time I did this, I ended up putting the whole word bread at the bottom. And then I thought I was going to have to do gingerbread on two separate lines, but I didn't like the way that it looked. So I just tried to stamp the whole word ginger up at the top. And then once I get that completed, which we'll skip to that here in a second, you'll see that there's this huge gap in between all of the letters. And I really, really didn't like that. So I didn't want to scrap this piece of paper because I did have the journaling on there, and there are other ways to fix it. So instead of reprinting, I just trimmed out a piece of 3x3 cardstock from a spare piece that I had on the table next to me. And I'm going to do this again. So this time, instead of trying to make the words like fit perfectly ginger and bread, I just went for it and stamped roughly 4 letters per line. At the end there was a little blank spot that I didn't like, so I grabbed out the exclamation point and added that to the end, which made it feel much more filled in and complete. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of that and then cover up that original title, and we're good to go. It's funny because the story, which we'll get to here in a second, is a story about embracing imperfection. This is a story I tell very often because I need lots of reminders that imperfections are okay. But it's funny that I couldn't stand the imperfect title and had to redo it. That's just so par of the course for me. But it is what it is. I like it better this way for sure. I'm glad I just went back and redid it. So then I'm taking that little chipboard piece that was left over from the gingerbread making kit that we got from Target. I added it to the top of that page or of that journaling just with my tiny attacher. And then I wanted to grab some tiny phrase stickers. I thought it would be a good idea to put one in the middle of all that stamping. I will find a red one, I forget what it says, and put it right in the middle. And then I'm going to end up not liking it. So I'll take it back off. And instead, I will add the phrase sticker that I pull off. I'm just going to add it to one of the 3x4 photos. And then once I do that, I decide if I add one to one photo, then I should probably add one to all 3 photos. So I'm going to find a red tiny phrase sticker with white writing, and that is going to get added to 2 of the photos. And then the third one is going to have one of the black ones with white writing. So I like the way that looks. Now I'm going to bring over my album and stick all of these pieces in there into the gingerbread house pocket there. Love the way that is positioned. I think it's perfect with the little Santa's house right at the point of the house. And then when I put those photos in there, I decide that I probably want something to pull them out with too, some kind of pull tab. So I went into my stash and found these tab stickers from Studio Calico. They're super old. I don't even know if they still have them there anymore. But I just positioned them where I could see them on top of the house so that I can pull them out when I want to see the pictures along with the journaling. All right, so that finishes up the spread for today. I think this came together so cute. I love making gingerbread houses, even though they are not easy to make. We always have such fun, and I just love the way that they look when you get them all on display. They're just so cute. So all that I have left to do for today is to just read you my journaling for this story. Now, I do have the 3 photos that I went ahead, added a little tiny phrase sticker to, and a pull tab to make them easier to come out of this pocket here. For the journaling, I have the title Gingerbread, and then I've got that Santa's house pull tab at the top of this. My journaling says, And I always forget to tell you guys my prompt. My prompt for this story is I am learning, which I don't know if I actually say I am learning, but that is what I went with of like, what is putting together gingerbread houses? What am I learning from that experience? So here we go. Putting together and decorating these little gingerbread houses is always such a lesson in embracing and celebrating imperfections. Perfectionism is something I've struggled with for a long, long time. I like things to be just right and have a hard time when they don't work out the way I want them to. Over the years, Aaron and I have discovered that this is something we have in common. He maybe even more than me. And so it seems our kids may be fated to have the same tendencies as us. Isabella certainly struggles while Jonah remains to be seen. So this annual exercise of putting together these little cookie homes that are doomed to fall apart, spreading on the frosting that will never look as good as the box photo, and decorating with a million candies to cover up all the errors, this activity is so good for all of us. It gives us a chance to laugh at our mistakes, to wipe up the extra frosting that glops out and lick the tasty treat off our fingers, to toss on as many candies as humanly possible, to opt for hot glue adhesive instead of frosting adhesive, and why didn't I hear about this idea sooner? And to proudly hold up our imperfect homes that are the most incredible creations of the season. With a little bit of tiered displaying and a few quick photos, our little village was born. More importantly, our family spent time together, getting messy and having the best time. So that is my story about gingerbread houses and how it is teaching us to embrace imperfections, which there is a lot that we do throughout the year that helps us to embrace imperfections, because that is a lesson that we need to be reminded of over and over and over and over again. Like, it's a lesson that just never need to stop. So that is my story for today. This is the way it all comes together. I think it's so cute. Love it. I hope that you guys feel inspired, and I hope that this gives you some ideas for how to document your stories in your December daily album as well. If you enjoyed this process video, I would love a thumbs up down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future crafty videos. I will be back again tomorrow with my next spread in my December daily album. And I actually have an unboxing and a bonus video coming out today, because today is the release for Feed Your Craft at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep an eye out for that as well. If you're not interested in non-December daily, then I will definitely see you guys tomorrow morning. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye now.